is right, except for the one time I betrayed him.
Betrayed him?
Yeah, Kermit. That's
Okay.
think I'm selfish?
Everyone is selfish.
Personally, I
monks.
think it's better to be selfish than not. You can only make a good conscience from being selfish.
Not true.
This is true.
I heard you arguing with Barry the other day about this in Great Books. Which Mr. Cambridge would not let me pass out of CAD. Can you believe that? He wouldn't let me do it. Or whatever.
Pass out of CAD? What do you mean?
It was that I could like take the econ final and pass out of CAD and get into Great Books. Man, that was wild. That was insane. How did I ask that? I mean, holy shit. I'm an asshole. I mean, Max Cabasco was backing me, so I was able to do that, but that was crazy. I mean, I've never done something that fucking...
I mean, that's not really that rude. You have your own explanations for everything everyone does.
I mean, yeah, but it is a little bit impudent, a little bit imprudent, a little bit...
wasn't arguing to Brady about selfishness per se, but more about self-preservation.
Self-preservation is selfish.
Not entirely.
How is it not entirely selfish?
He was arguing that by helping out others, you are doing a selfless act, but that may help you in self-preservation. Though he said that as reply to Max saying, for example, helping the elderly is a selfless act. And he said, well, no, if you help others, they may help you in the future. So that's not entirely a selfless act. And my reply to Brady was, okay, helping a 90-year-old's gonna, helping a 90-year-old is gonna help me survive, sure. And then he stuttered for like about 15 seconds.
Yeah, he couldn't gather his thoughts quickly enough. But this is a real, and then he actually recounted that whole story to me.
Yes.
This is a real philosophical, ethical, I guess, dilemma that people have been talking about for a long time, which is that inherently everything we do for our own interests in some roundabout way. Like helping a 90-year-old it wouldn't actually help your own health, but the tradition of kind of younger people helping older people goes back. It's a very ancient tradition. It's always kind of been a part of the human, tribal thing, is that you respect your elders. And the reason why is because, your elders, well, actually, there's many reasons. There's like kind of an interest reason, where it's sort of like if you help the old people now, when you become old and frail, then your children will help you. So maybe it helps you in that way because you preserve the tradition. So that way that when you're old and you told your children that you help the old people and you showed that, so that when they get old, they help you. So there's kind of that. Then there's also the element of old people probably have a lot of knowledge, and so by helping them, they might give you some of that knowledge. They've been around the block a few times.
Yes, that's what Brady
So yeah,
said
there are
as
lots of reasons why. But a 90-year-old with Alzheimer's isn't going to give you that, and people still might do it, even in a situation where they're isolated from society completely, and yet they still help this 90-year-old with Alzheimer's. And that, you could just say, is a continuation of the tradition. It's just people are used to the tradition. The tradition was formed for possibly reasons that actually help the individuals, and yet you still follow the tradition outside of the context, because that's just how traditions work.
You have to realize in the context of the argument, though, I was more concerned about the fact that, Max gave a great example on what selfless is an act helping others. That is the definition of selfless. And then
it's not helping yourself.
And then Brady, as a response, said, actually, helping others is selfishness.
Yeah, because it always indirectly benefits you.
But, right after that, of course, Max says, well, then everything is selfless.
Or selfish.
Everything is selfish in that way of acting. Because the most selfless thing you can do is help others.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yes, the most selfless thing you can do is help others. The worst thing that could happen to anybody would be to not be used for anything by anybody. Kurt Vonnegut, that's the meaning of life, motherfucker. Anyways, at least according to Space Lady on Venus. Or wait, no, maybe it was One of the Moons of Jupiter, I don't know. It's a great book. Sirens of Titan, you should read it, check it out. Anyways, maybe we'll do an audiobook of that.
You just have
I want to
an
start
advertisement
making
in the middle.
audiobooks. I want to start making audiobooks. I think I'm going to do an audiobook of Paradise Lost because I think that might be the only way I can read the whole thing because the chunks are too big for me
See,
to.
my thing is like I voice act as a hobby, right? So it's
For
like
who?
as a hobby. I'm not
Oh,
doing
okay.
it for an organization.
Well, that's just doing funny voices.
Yeah, no, that's
If you're not,
I actually.
are you actually playing characters?
I actually read a character, voice out that character in those lines given to me, and you know.
Who's giving you lines?
I read them.
Yeah, but who's giving you the lines?
I said giving as just any form
Okay.
of getting something. And I personally think voice acting is just reading audiobooks, but it wastes less time and takes more effort.
Well, reading an audiobook, the purpose of an audiobook is to enable someone to experience a book without reading it.
Yes.
The purpose of voice acting is more to portray a character.
Yes.
So they're they have different ends.
I know they're incredibly different. I'm just saying I don't.
They're related, but
I wouldn't really care to do reading an audiobook instead of like doing anything else.
Well, yeah, but
Even
with an
voice
audiobook,
related.
if I'm reading, a character's lines, their dialogue, I might, put on a little voice for that, and that might be kind of a form of voice acting. But, it's a little different. I don't know how interested you are in poetry. But,
we have a poetry book.
poetry is all about the beauty of language, and sometimes it's more beautiful to speak poetry than to say it. And in that case, it's not really about playing any
And
character.
to write it, do you mean?
What? No, to speak poetry aloud, to read poetry aloud.
Sometimes
reveals
more poetic than to say it. Speaking and saying are the same thing.
Yeah, no, I'm saying sometimes you need that versus reading it without anyone saying it.
Uh-huh.
Like sometimes to bring out the beauty of the language, you have
Okay,
to
yeah,
say it
you
out
just-
loud. That's
you
what
just
I'm.
misspoke.
That's what I'm trying to say. Trying to speak. Anyways, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to speak.
That's not really trying to portray a character. That's just bringing out the beauty of the language by saying it out loud. And really, this is mainly a means for me to read the book by actually dedicating chunks of time for it. And I think it'll be neat. I'll probably put it on Allegedly Jazz if anyone's listening. Probably gonna put that shit up there. Maybe I'll do an audiobook of the Sirens of Titans too. It's a pretty short book.
I like books that can't be audiobooked, you know?
I mean, yeah, but I don't really consume audiobooks, so.
Does anybody? Except for
My
like,
dad does.
I was about to say,
Well, some
except
people-
for like college girls that read smut.
Well, no,
now
some
I have
people-
to ask, is your dad a college girl who reads smut?
Well, no, some people prefer to listen to books rather than music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. I think music is a lot better than books.
No,
But
yeah,
some
I
people
understand.
like books more than music, and maybe they like to put that on in the background rather than. Anyways, yeah. So everything is selfish, kind of. Can't really get away from that. The other form of selflessness that exists is kind of asceticism, which is also indirectly selfish. But this would be like fasting for like weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of a selfless act because it is literally doing something that yourself is telling you, hey, I want food, and you're like, no. So also like celibacy would, fall into that same kind of category. But it's still indirectly a selfish thing. It's just contrary to like what yourself tells you to do. And in most cases has some religious purpose by which you are trying to disassociate from the material body that has its constant continual desires and be more in touch with the impersonal spiritual world, which might be madness, but isn't it a beautiful madness, a lovely madness, as the poet says? Maybe that's what genius is. It's that lovely madness that allows us to create art and also appreciate art.
I mean, yapping all this stuff about appreciation and stuff, I was thinking about this yesterday, how intellectualism is kind of like a problem mentally,
What do you mean?
which is
So, what do you-
overanalyzing your own emotions and
Well, that's
trying to put
not
reason in it.
intellectualism. That's rationalism, more so.
Rationalism?
well, because, or maybe it's analyticism, but
Same thing
intellectualism.
at this point.
No, but intellectualism as a word is more commonly used to refer to like academia, and it's sort of said that America has an anti-intellectual culture, by which we think that the academics of our day are like libtards who sit on their asses and do nothing and are ruining
magician.
and are ruining the American dream. And America has always kind of been an anti-intellectual country versus Europe, which is much more generally pro-intellectual. So intellectual usually has more to do with the intelligence. This is a real word. Intelligentsia, I believe. Kind of the scholars, the academics. So what you're talking about is more like rationalism, by which you try to rationalize the world using your reason. But of course, there is no peace in reason. Like, reason is not actually... Reason has a completely neutral morality, I think.
Yeah, most of the time, whenever I'm overthinking my emotions, sometimes you just, like, stop and just do whatever I want, and then it works better.
Well, don't you always do whatever you want?
Yes, but sometimes I don't do exactly what I want
What you truly
initially.
want. Yeah. But, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's very easy to think in circles, and there are many... This world is much too complicated to rationalize everything in it. To rationalize even most of the things in it. I mean, most of what we do is, like, basically automatic.
I've spent so many hours of my time researching, not exactly researching, just, like, thinking about, sex, objectification, a bunch of things related to that, to try to get my own moral ground to how I feel about sex and objectification and everything. And I've eventually come to a point that if I'm doing what I want, that's great. If I'm doing what I want and people say it's bad, that's probably not great. And just go from there. Just fucking do whatever you want, man. But it is still good to look at some situations and just be like, okay, if you're only having sex, but like you basically hate this person, then you probably shouldn't have sex with that person.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like, I'm like, I don't want to say ashamed of my sexuality, but I have certainly had more of a drive to repress it than I think most people.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
So, I'm like, and your sexuality has become in the past, I don't know, century or so, more than a century or so, it's become increasingly, sort of normalized in society. There's still a significant camp of people who, feel a certain way.
Well, eventually,
But,
I mean, I personally believe that, homophobia just originates from how, back in the day, homosexuals were usually connected with pedophilia. And so
yeah, that is definitely part of it.
I just feel like that's the main part of it. So over time, as there's less and less pedophiles and more homosexuals that aren't pedophiles, it suddenly becomes a more normal.
Yeah, I don't know where
thing.
we can blame it, because I believe in medieval Europe it was still common. It was in some ways, in some cultures, I don't know how widespread this was, but there was definitely a sense that. Okay, so so pediacrity is a thing in Roman and Greek society, which is pedophilia with a fancier word, pediacrity.
Yeah.
And it's how. Well, let's say you're like a rich lord, right?
Let's say I'm trying to learn some art from Leonardo da Vinci. He fucks me in the ass.
Okay, well, wait. That's a completely different. You're a Roman official. You're like a senator.
Sure.
You want to have lots of swanking sex and orgies and shit, right? So, you've got like a couple wives. Actually, I don't know if Rome was against that, but you've got a couple wives. Maybe you only have one wife. I don't know. I don't really know how stringent they were on polygamy in Roman society. I can't remember. So yeah, you got your wife. The issue is that contraceptives exist, but they kind of suck. And you're kind of okay with, getting like blowjobs from whores and things. That's like okay, I guess. But you know what's even safer than fucking whores? Because whores might produce bastards. And if you have a bad bastard who somehow gets a crazy claim to the throne because he realizes that he's your bastard, that could potentially have some political issues. And also, what if the bastard reveals himself to, exist? That could bring dishonor upon you. You know what's safer than that? Gay. Right? Because you're not going to accidentally be producing nasty bastards. And so, if you're a Roman senator, you definitely would find younger boys who are more similar in physique to women more directly attractive than you would older men. And so there's definitely a marked preference among these sorts of people towards younger boys. The sort of the younger the better. And so it's like a common practice for powerful individuals to kind of fuck little boys in order to alleviate their lust. And it seems that there are many cases in society where, this became so common that it was kind of like accepted as like almost a legitimate profession for a young boy to become like the sex slave of this old rich guy.
I mean, Julius Caesar, not really my favorite guy, kind of hate him. He would go out to these various islands with, these folk just minding their own business. He'd enslave them. Get, like, a boy that, like, he wants, and then instruct... basically say, I'm gonna break your arms and legs if you don't let me ass fuck you.
Yeah.
It also, I was really sad to find out this because I originally got this detail from this book I was reading, like the history of the origins and history of homosexuality in the USA, in America, and it goes back to how many famous people back in the day actually were homosexual.
That's true.
Like Julius Caesar, for example, and I gave this cute little thing that I thought was so adorable, that he'd be in his, I guess, pool with, his...
The Greek bathhouse. Those things were sick as fuck.
Yeah. With his boys that he'd fuck, and he called them little minnows. And I thought that was so cute at first, and I looked into it. Turns out those little minnows were like toddlers, maybe even infants, that he was doing that with. So.
Well, so anyways, yeah, that brought a couple ideas to mind.
It's sad.
Like, yeah, it was possibly in society before men were old enough or respected enough to marry. It was kind of seen, homosexuality was, and this is like reflected in a lot of literature. You see this kind of hinted at, especially older literature, that homosexuality was kind of this juvenile thing, where boys who could not be trusted to be married yet would, fuck each other, right? Because that's a lot safer.
I also got
than fucking women, right?
I also got this from the book in the Native Americans. Some tribes, most tribes actually, the adults would pick out one boy, which I find this funny. They judged them to be the cutest. Interesting. Pick them to be the gay boy, and then they would dress,
which
act,
other boy would
and
you
do
pick?
the same chores as woman, except they were the gay boy. So now, if you know about Native American culture, it's very important that the adults or the parents of this family, choose their children to marry into one another. It's very important to them that they're chosen into marriage.
Well, yeah, and that's common in feudal aristocracies. That was
So-
necessary. Indian cultures.
So the boater boy was just to, get their boners down.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
And
up, and then,
yeah, and
after
you
the
look
fact.
Shakespearean acting. Women were not allowed to act,
Mm.
so obviously you'd have they'd get effeminate men to play the female parts in Shakespeare's plays. Oh yeah, so this was the other idea. Like, it is probably true that more of the artists and the so-called quote unquote great men of history, more proportionally more of them were probably gay or, whatever, than than in other groups. Um, and I think we can. There's like a lot of reasons why. Because it's kind of like they felt like that kind of gives them an automatic separation from the mainstream culture, which can be useful. But yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know if I'm just like very good at transcending my sexuality or what. But it is kind of true. Like
I don't know if I'm just goaded with the sauce.
I don't want to
but
say
I might be.
I'm not like ashamed of my sexuality per se, but I'm not like proud of it. Now I don't think anyone should be proud of their sexuality. That doesn't make sense to me.
I am.
Right? Well, why should you be proud of it? Are you proud of how much you
Just
love
because
cheese?
Of the history of it.
Are you proud of how much you love cheese?
I would be proud of having cheese if I was a cheese liberator. If I broke the chains of society and made cheese this normal thing that people can have and
actually,
love.
so that makes sense now. So you're prideful of it in order to resist the people who shame you for it.
Yes.
Right? So
I'm a cheese liberator.
it's a way to equal out the portion of society that shames you for it.
Sure.
But so that's why it makes more sense to be proud of being gay than it does to be proud of being straight. Because if you're proud of being straight, that's like being proud of liking steak. It's like everyone fucking likes steak. Like that's nothing to be proud of. Unless you're like Guy Fieri. But
who was Guy Fieri? I mean, like, I knew who
you don't
he
know
was.
who Guy Fieri?
I knew who he was, but like,
oh my god,
really, who the fuck is he?
Okay, so my pap would sometimes watch him. And basically, he has this TV show. I don't know if he's a professional chef or what, but on his show, it's basically just him driving around and eating at restaurants and being like, "This is really fucking good."
Yeah.
And people like to watch that, I guess. Yeah, basically that's his whole thing. And then I think he did some other stuff, but that's what he did. He just,
Likely cocaine.
Yeah. But yeah, so So there's been more of a reason, I think, for me to try to repress and be a bit secretive of my sexuality, and I think that maybe has because I like to think that like it doesn't bring me sadness. You know what I mean?
You keep saying my sexuality, or do you just not say you're straight, or is like?
Cool. You know that I'm into some shit, okay?
Okay. Let me tell you this. I remember asking you, like, on the scale that's like 0 to 6, like 0 is completely straight, 6 is completely gay, where you lie, and you said about 1, which is suspicious. I understand that I've seen many examples of you doing weird shit, but I just...
Well, I don't mean gay straight scale. I mean like, kinked to the max versus like, not.
Do you see homosexuality as a kink?
No.
For yourself?
No. What I'm saying is that I am extremely kinky. Disgustingly kinky, Colton. You've no
Look
idea.
at me!
You have no idea, okay? You've no fucking idea.
I know everything.
That's cool. Anyways, yeah, so, I think, this is the line of reasoning I'm thinking through. That, because of that, I guess, it's like, I'm not like so distraught over not having sex.
Secretive about your sexuality. Because to me, sexuality has nothing to do with kink. I mean,
What do you mean?
and you can't be secretive about being straight because people automatically assume that you're straight upon first meeting you, unless if you're like flamboyant as fuck,
No, well,
or unless if
okay.
they have an actual.
Really,
working
you don't
gaydar.
think that kink is part of sexuality?
I don't,
Why not?
because not every homosexual has the same kinks. There is not any scientific way of measuring kinks out of a certain sexuality.
Well, yeah, but the kink is something that shouldn't be sexual or shouldn't be as sexual as it is, but that you find sexual, right?
Dude, I'm saying sexuality has nothing to do with kinks because sexuality just defines what gender or sex of people you are attracted to. I don't think that innately has anything to do with kink.
So, okay, so in my lexicon, sexuality is gay, straight plus whatever you find sexual. It's sexuality. It's not
So that's
it's not heteronormality, because heteronormality is a word that literally means are you gay or straight. Sexuality is like what other word would we use to explain like what noun would I use to explain the field of things that people find sexual or are related to sex for people,
I mean,
or that are influence a person's sexual psychology. So that should I say sexual psychology?
we're not gonna
Because
not gonna say that pedophiles are child sexuals. We're gonna call them pedophiles.
yeah, but I think pedophilia is a form of sexuality, right?
No,
Pedophilia is a form of sexual psychology.
I guess yeah. Sexuality is specifically defined as just
We're gonna look this
gender
up.
sex. I fucking have looked this up.
Okay, look it up right now. Give me the Google definition. Type in define sexuality and read to me exactly what it says.
I have done this before.
I'm pretty sure you mean sexual orientation is gay straight.
Sexuality definition. From Oxford Languages, noun, capacity for sexual feelings.
That's what it says, capacity for sexual feelings. That has nothing to do with gay straight.
Okay, sexuality, it uses the noun in two different ways. Sexual activity, which is just like the same as saying sexual intercourse or procreation. And the definition below that, a person's identity in relation to the gender or genders to which they are typically attracted, sexual orientation.
So 3. So capacity for sexual feelings.
No, this covers this both ways, I guess.
Well, yeah, but this is the primary. These are the bullet points. Capacity for sexual feelings is sexuality. Right.
The only bullet points for it, the bullet points don't have anything.
Cool. Are you telling to me that no? But this is the most general capacity for sexual feelings, and is a kink a sexual feeling?
It's not. It doesn't.
You're trying to tell me that a kink is not a sexual feeling?
It is a sexual feeling.
Yes, it's a sexual
It doesn't
feeling.
have to do with your own capacity of feeling those things.
Well, yes.
It's just defining a specific subgroup of sexuality that you are able.
Okay. I'm gonna take you through my equations here. Kink is a form of sexual feelings.
It is a form of sexual feelings.
Yes. So it would be included in sexuality because sexuality is the capacity for that.
If we're saying that using pedophilia as an example pedophilia
is a sexual feeling.
It is a sexual feeling, yes. It is, unfortunately, it is a form of capacity to feel that sexual feeling. As in, it is defining a sexiness that one feels
a
towards
pedophilia
it.
sexuality is their capacity for sexual feeling, which is limited to or partially, wanting to fuck children, and that is a sexual feeling that they have, right? And so their capacity for that is part of their sexuality, right?
I mean, it
Like
says
this is a simple logical equivalency.
with the definition for capacity of sexual feelings, the thesaurus says sexiness, desirability, passion. It basically means how. It doesn't mean specifically what one feels for a sexual thing. It just says
But you're telling me that the phrase sexual feeling does not mean how you feel sexually.
It does mean how you feel sexually, but whenever you're using it specifically with pedophilia, it means specifically pedophilia. If I'm saying sexuality, it just means for any sexual feeling.
Yeah, and one of those could be pedophilia.
Sure.
And so pedophilia is could be part of a person's sexuality.
Then we're using it that way, but
well, and
again,
I think that's the more useful definition, right?
But again, I'm using this bullet point definition that everybody uses, which refers to sexual orientation.
But there's simply no better word for sexual like sexual psychology is just too long, and I feel like sexuality it's the right word. You know what I mean?
Just sexiness, desirability.
No, your capacity for sexual feeling.
That is desirability.
My capacity for sexual feeling is related to a bunch of these kinks.
Desirability.
Right?
Your desirability to those kinks.
My desire for those kinks.
Great, now we replace the word. We don't need sexuality used in that fuck-ass way anymore.
Well, why not? Yeah, but doesn't it feel like the right word? Because the word you're using is simply sexual orientation.
Because then you have two definitions of the same word. One which means generally this group of people, or one that means generally this specific type of thing.
But of course your attraction to which gender is a critical piece of your sexuality, right? Probably the most critical piece of it, but it's not the only piece.
Yes. If I say I'm homosexual, what kinks does that tell you I have?
That doesn't have anything to do with kinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm using
and
sexuality.
Most people's sexuality, or normal people's sexuality, has no kinks involved.
I use sexuality as a way to reference blank sexual
orientation.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can use it that way. But I mean, I think it's more useful as a broader term. Right? Well, because what is the better word for the whole of your sexual feeling and sexual being, other than sexuality?
Desiredness.
No, but it's the perfect word. You see what I mean? Like, it's sexuality.
I guess.
It's the perfect word. Like, desirability. Well, desirability is the quality of being desirable, right?
Yes,
So that's not quite what we're talking about, because we're talking about it in abstract.
You say pedophilia is the desirability to one's to fucking kids. I mean,
well, no, that's improper grammar. Pedophilia would be finding desirability in children, because desirability is not it's like a property that something
would
has.
It make
it's
more
not
sense if I said
itself.
finding sexuality in children?
No, that doesn't make grammatical sense either, because
how would you phrase it that it doesn't make grammatical sense?
Here's what I mean. Desirability is a property that something has. You can't have the property of sexuality, though.
You
know
are
what I mean?
Using sexuality as a property. You're saying I'm trying to hide my sexuality, like how someone would be trying to hide their blue.
Well, I mean, yeah, so desirability is like more of an adjective property, and sexuality is more of a personal property. You know what I mean? Desirability is something that you put on something.
How is adjective not personal?
What?
How is adjective
Well,
not
I guess
sexuality
is like a personal property adjective, and desirability is like an objective personal property. Is an objective adjective.
Yes, we're trying to make this
right?
subjective. That's my point.
Yeah, so sexuality is more subjective and desirability is an objective term, and that's why desirability is something that is applied to an object, but you can't apply desirability to yourself unless you're really narcissistic. You know what I mean? Right? Like
I
I can have the property of desirability for myself, but I can't have the property of sexuality for myself, because that's not like what the word means.
Yeah, so why are you using it that way?
I'm not using it that way.
You're trying to hide your sexuality.
Well, yeah, you can hide your sexuality. When you say I can hide my sexuality, sexuality there is no longer an object, is no longer an adjective. It's actually an object in itself.
But this
It's the
goes back
object
to
of
my
hide.
point then, that you're using sexuality shittily, because if you say, I'm trying to hide my sexuality, I think you're trying to hide the fact that you're straight, while others might think he's trying to hide the fact that he loves blank, blank, blank. I'm going to tell the camera fucking everything, right? Like,
Well, would you
microphone.
like? I mean, like, do you prefer sexual psychology or like nuances of sexuality? Would you agree
As a
that,
term to use there,
Yeah, because what else am I going to say?
I prefer to hide my kinks, because that's what the word kink
Yeah, I guess,
does.
but that's just that doesn't.
That's the purpose of the word kink, and
Yeah, I mean, I guess
using
that works.
sexuality to replace it because maybe it's a vulgar word or something. Who knows?
Yeah, but I just think that, I mean,
Look, I just turned on my phone. I got the wizard with a gun. That means I'm on the right side of this discussion.
I feel like if you ask a sexual psychologist who has studied this shit, they would agree with my definition of sexuality. Because I think the bigger definition is better, and I think capacity for sexual feeling feels to me more accurate than sexual orientation.
The thing is there's multiple definitions.
Because
so they would be like, yeah, you're kind of right, you're kind of wrong. It's a mix in between.
Yeah, but I mean, I think in an academic sense, like, sexuality
in an academic
as
sense,
capacity
modern day, most of the time, sexuality is used as reference to sexual orientation.
Well, because I guess that's what's most useful most of the time. And also because most people don't have a very deep sexuality, and so it's not usually important to make these distinctions.
I just remembered an article I was reading yesterday that was just kind of like, why are there so many bottoms? And this like guy like went through like how people in many cities say like, oh, New York is just full of bottoms and stuff. Because, I was trying to answer the question, are there more switches than there are people leaning one specific way? Because I feel like there would be more switches. There are more switches, which makes me even more mad why there would be just a fuck ton of tops and bottoms portrayed in gay media. Anyway, back to point. This guy makes just...
Well, it's a more dramatic relationship.
Yeah, no.
Right?
No, it's not. For me, 69 all the way, that's more dramatic than ass fucking. Because anybody can ass fuck if you're a switch. It can be just as dramatic to see this guy and then ass fuck him.
Well,
then it might be even more dramatic in another sense that it's switched around and now this guy's ass fucking the guy who ass fucked him.
I mean, by drama, I mean more like plot conflict than excitement.
Yes, this is true.
And
this is my problem with tops and bottoms.
And there's more plot potential if someone's stuck in one position and the other, you know what I mean?
And that's what the guy writing this article said. He said, like, if everybody is just throwing up their ankles once they get 3 feet within a bed, then you kind of gotta wonder what the fuck is going on.
I don't actually know exactly what you said means, but anyways, we're gonna move on from that.
This reminds me. I want to keep talking about this because this is a really fascinating thing to me personally.
What?
Because there's this one time I'm standing outside the school waiting for the buses to come, right? This is maybe sophomore year. I'm sitting just in front of these bricks, just waiting for the bus to come. This guy who I've never seen before, like, walks up to me, says, "Are you a top or bottom?" And I just, what the fuck? I just kind of look around, I'm like, switch? He says, I'm a bottom, and then just walks away. And it only occurred to me 5 minutes later, like, was he hitting on me? I mean, not that I cared, because I didn't want him to hit on me. But it's just, I feel uncomfortable whenever people bring up top or bottom. Not only because, one, that's just, like, immediately going into, like, what do you prefer in bed? Which is a part of my identity now that I don't quite want it to be. But also, what was I saying? But also, it's making these standards that, like, you're either top or bottom, or nothing in between. Like, there's only one way to go.
Yeah, but if you are one or the other, then you need the other, you know?
Yes. But most of the time, people are switches. So, seeing tops and bottoms portrayed so much in gay media is like, well, this doesn't feel realistic. This doesn't feel like actual gays.
Okay, so I think the
I
reason
prefer my gays to
why
be real.
the reason why I was so inclined to use sexuality in the more general sense is because, from what I understand, most people have a baseline of like being able to enjoy like normal sex, you know.
I'm going to show you this real quick. It asks you a question. Oh, fuck you. Don't bring me the dykes. I don't want to see them. Fucking dykes. Anyway, I'm about to show you some dykes. Let me find them. Hold on. Just scrolling about against pages and pages of gay smut. Hold on. Almost there. Fuck, did I miss it? Fuck, I did. Hold on. I'm going in. Wait a minute. Keep waiting. Can't fucking find it. What the fuck is it called? Why can't I find it anywhere? I mayhaps got rid of it. Let me look it up.
See, I'm sucking on this tea bag because I'm a fucking toddler. Did you fucking know that?
Okay. If I were to present to you these
shit.
two individuals.
Hold on.
Eat your greens. Do you think that those are dykes?
I don't know what that
Or
term...
men?
I'm not familiar
Lesbians
with the...
are dykes. It's a slur for lesbians
Oh,
they
really?
use all the time.
Wow.
Do you think those are women?
I'm fucking know.
Okay.
I guess they're more masculine aesthetically, so like
I disagree. I think they're... Because
I
if
mean,
you
like,
think about dykes,
like they
they're
could
more
be,
masculine women.
like
typically.
they could be women, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of vague.
If you see dykes on bikes, like they
I've never
sometimes
seen that.
look very
Is that
masculine.
a fucking movie?
No.
We should watch it. Anyway.
And my point is that they didn't used to look that way. Their art style changed. In the past, they looked like men, and now they look like dykes. And that's what I see in a lot of over-sensualized gay media made by people who are typically not men, who don't actually feel for men, typically, in a gay sense.
You pissed off? Like, what the fuck are you? Is this
They
a random
turned the fags into dykes.
I mean, but if they're into it, I think it's okay,
You're
right?
gonna have to censor this entire
What
section.
the fuck are you talking about? This isn't hate speech. Anyways. Yeah.
I don't have
so
anything against dykes or fags.
Sort of the
I just want to see specifically.
Yeah, sort of
fags.
the thing I'm trying to get at is that I don't know what would happen in a legit. Well, actually, I have some idea. But you know, from what I understand, most people at some level. Are you leaving? What the fuck is wrong with you? Get over here.
I'm
getting to my fucking point here. Most people, it seems, masturbate on some level
Can you see my
to
dick? It's
regular.
these pants
What
kinda
the?
give
Could
me-
you shut the fuck up? Could you shut the fuck up?
These pants
Most people on some level
kinda give me a nice bulge.
enjoy, you know,
These
they
pants don't lie.
masturbate to normal sexual things, right?
Oh.
And it's kind of like, I don't do that, you know? I do not masturbate to normal sexual
Tell me
things.
what the last
In
thing
fact,
you masturbated
I
to
never
right
have.
now.
Let me see, what was that?
I remember it clear as day.
It was a story. I usually jack off to stories. Or my
you-
imagination. Yeah, I'm like a bitch.
Dude, if you use your imagination, don't jack off to anything. Just like go, like raw. Just
What the fuck are you talking
if
about?
your brain is powerful enough, you can become a god of your own brain. You
Yeah,
will
you
make
can
your own
imagine anything.
universe.
Yeah, I jack off.
You don't need a book.
Probably half the time
You
I jack
summon
off.
it within.
Half the time I jack off to my imagination. Yeah, it was like a story. You know. Oh my god, we get back to fucking playing saxophone after a fucking hour? Jesus Christ. You know, that's kind of the thing I'm getting at, where it's kind of like, you know, I don't know what would happen in real life, but I really don't, you know, have much of a sexual attraction towards anything that's normally considered sexual. And, you know, this is kind of worrying, I guess. But, like, I don't really give a shit. And I think that because of this, I find, like, you know, whenever there is sexual material or material that's supposed to be sexual in, you know, art and life, etc., you know, I'm not really as tantalized by it as I think most people would be. And this makes it easier for me to repress my own sexuality, which, you know, I'm using that word because, you know, if I were to use your definition, I almost don't even have a sexuality in the normal sense of the word.
Wait, you're straight.
And so
Aren't
what?
you?
But not really. Like
You
that's the
don't-
thing.
you
Like
don't like woman?
my sexual desires are so, and they've always been. I've been stroking my cock since I was 4, Colton. You don't fucking understand. Okay? Like it's never really been about women. You know, it's never really about women. I'm like Roger.
It's not about the money.
It's never really been about the women. I prefer the women, you know, don't get me wrong, but it's never really been about the women. And so every once in a while, I'll read a story, and all the characters are male, and I jack off to it, and it works. And yet, you know, because it was never really about the women, you know, it was about the other stuff.
It was never about the money.
You know,
It's about the message.
and you know, this is the thing I'm getting at here.
You don't understand, Batman. I've been jacking off since I was 4, choking out the dragon, soaking my balls in the Burger King soda dispenser.
I mean, like, you know, when you were a wee lad, did you ever play with your member?
I started whenever I was like 9 or 10.
That's pretty good for you.
Thanks.
No, but I mean, like, you know, it's a very small. I mean, it's a neat thing, you know. I mean, you can stick your finger in there, and it'll like completely envelop upon itself, and then it disappears, and then it comes back. It's like like a slinky, you know.
I remember.
For some reason, I'm able to talk.
like
in this...
whenever it's flaccid, you can make it an innie. Yeah, eventually I got to a certain age where it's like it had to be really flaccid to make it an innie, but yeah, I get
Yeah. Well, yeah, but then you
Wait,
figure
your
out
entire finger disappears or just the dick?
just the dick.
Okay, cause I'm about to say if your entire like that.
Yeah, but
See a doctor.
then you figure out, you know, even as a small child, that if you do it in just the right way, you know, you can get, you know, suddenly it gets hard. And I remember I was very small, and this must have been at the other house, which means that I would have had to been like 3 or 4 or so, you know, or 5 at the most, because I think we moved here when I was like 6 or something. I remember I was like trying to pee, right? My dick was hard, right? And I'm like, I'm talking to my dad. I'm like, yo, like I can't get this thing to like pee. Except I'm like 4, so you know I'm not talking like that. And he's like, oh yeah, here's the trick. You put your dick behind your leg. You ever done that?
My dick would stab. No.
No.
if you put your dick behind your leg, then you stop being hard. I probably can't do it anymore. I don't know.
Then you stop being hard?
Well, because
I thought, like, what you were saying is you put it, like, under, you, like, twist it down, then sit down on the toilet and piss like a woman.
No. You just sort of put it under your leg a little bit. So that way that it gets stuck. And then after, like, 30 seconds, it stops being hard.
That's just not how that works.
No, it works.
Oh.
So anyways, I think it's time for a little ragtime.
No, you have to tell me the full story.
So anyways. I don't really remember it because I was like 4. Actually, Minimally Frag is overdone. We're going to do the easy winners here. It's in A flat. Actually, my thumb is scabbed to shit by that uke playing from earlier. Like, it's like scabbed to shit. It's a fucking problem. Anyways.
I was thinking the other day, like, whenever that one day, I was feeling bad and I called you to talk about the shit going on.
Cool.
And you were just like,
Yeah, I was just jacking off before you called me.
That was true.
Yeah, I can tell by the sound in your voice it was true.
What?
I can tell by the sound of the voice it was true.
Is there a certain tone that comes with someone's voice after they...
Well, think how you're talking right now, but more goony.
What do you mean?
How
But
like
like
goony
right now.
after goony? Like, imagine you're a goon, right? Yeah, I'm a goon. And then you stop being a goon after being a goon for like 5 hours.
That did actually make me really uncomfortable. So as revenge, what will I do? I think I know just the right thing to do. So I got these Splenda packets, right? And I got this fucking saxophone, which is screwed on so poorly, he really doesn't treat this thing right. It's a good body for a saxophone, too. It's a shame. It's probably just pissing anyway, but, it did still make me a little grossed out.
Okay, actually, there's not a chance in hell that I'm gonna, get hard right now. What's going on? What the fuck are you doing, man? The fuck, man?
Play your
Jesus
saxophone.
Christ! You fucking put Splenda pack. You put Splenda packets in the fucking saxophone. What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh shit! What did I just throw away? What was I holding in my hand?
Tea packet.
No, the other thing. Fuck.
Oh, it was the reed, not the
Okay.
literature.
I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, if you are listening to this recording right now, you
should get the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Like, you have accomplished something.
Medal. Trump's gonna award that to himself next week.
Fuck! Could you please undo this thing?
See, I did that as revenge. You'll hear on the recording.
The fuck is what?
Because you grossed me out by saying that and going that and doing that.
And doing what?
Gross.
What have I done? What do you mean?
Even acting like you're gonna just like goon.
What do you
your
mean?
friend's presence is a little bit weird, you know.
I don't think it was that weird.
I think it made me uncomfortable. Was the point?
Well, yeah, but I mean, you probably said something into this mic in that time, right?
Yeah, I walked around and I said, okay, what am I gonna do? And I'm like, oh, I have the perfect idea, and it was a perfect idea because he is still struggling.
Well, no, because you see, the thing is this is like cement. This is like I'm ripping apart.
I am a genius.
I'm ripping apart pieces of cement here. Fuck. You were the biggest Jew I've ever met. You know that?
We love Jews in this
God damn it.
household.
God fucking damn it. This is better than alcohol. This is actual rage. Could you look up The Nausiers by Eric Satie? I want to play him right now.
Nausean?
Whichever one. I think they're called Nausiers. Just look up any of them. I want to play one.
Nausean plural is nausier.
Really?
No, I'm asking you if, do you have a book that has it?
No, I don't. I play them off of the internet. They're pretty easy, though. So just, look one up. I want to play one.
Yeah, I don't kind of want that, though. Nausean isn't... It's too peaceful for, the shit that just
No. There's 8 of them.
I
Did you know that?
I've listened
Some
to
of them
all
are really
them.
dark. Actually, the last one was discovered today, so there's no way you fucking heard it.
Ah! That's pretty interesting.
Fuck. God damn. This is...
Did you wash your hands?
Okay, you think I actually touched myself? But come on.
Did you wash your hands?
I think I did.
Well, until you are sure, I'm not going to help you with that, and you're just going to have to deal with the Splenda mouthpiece all by yourself. I'm a genius. Yes, I know, viewers. You don't have to remind me. Thanks, Splenda. I'm also doing this because I'm wondering what would happen, you know? Would it play the same? Listen to that. That's good. Can it spill through the octave? No. Oh yeah, it's stuck. Yeah, but okay, I'll get you read.
I'm writing songs to fill the time. Just writing songs to fill the time. I hope I don't die.
It's probably gonna die.
Everybody dies. I'm writing songs to fill the time.
All the time.
Just writing songs
out, which means it's stuck
Oh, shit, stuck.
in.
Just writing songs to fill the time.
World's best strongman, you dumb fuck. There you are.
I'm writing songs. Fuck.
Play it like a trumpet.
Okay, I'll try.
Use the other end. It's easier.
Oh my god, it tastes sweet.
Yeah. I did put Splendid down in it.
Come on, you got it. Come on, you have another fucking hand. Hold this to my lips.
I'm not gonna do that.
Just, it's not a big deal.
Sexuality. You fuck everything. You fuck it all. You get down Fuck that bitch. Oh, I fell! Down.
Only to find that there were loads of small bearded women, and they were filled with eyeglasses so small that you could see through them with your testicles. Your testicles
Everywhere.
squid tentacles. So, you know, some people say that you can't fit an hour and a half on a record. But here at Allegedly Jazz, we say, why not?
We're using anatomical precision. Are you crying?
What?
Are you crying?
No, I'm not crying.
You're
No.
crying? What happened?
What?
What happened?
I swear to God, I'm not crying. I know what it feels like to cry. I can cry for you right now. Hold on. Let me get into bed.
I'm not into weepy bitches. Not into you either.
That's good.
All right.
Do you sometimes worry that I'm into you?